Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. So today's sketch, we're using this Operation Right Home, and I did change up two things. I added a base paper with a mat, and the white sheet that's over on the right hand side that doesn't have any black underneath of it, I added some for our card today. Okay, so I'm using this Concord and 9th stamp set. All I did, it came really tall, so I just cut it in half a little bit, just a little bit off the ends, so that way the two pieces would fit into my my Avery L package. And then for the sentiment, we're just using the happy birthday that came with the cupcake stamp set from Altenew. Now for our base paper here, I cut the pattern paper at 4 by 5 1/4, and then I made the black matte page just 1/8 of an inch bigger, so that would be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I was just showing you we're using the same Carta Bella paper stack. I'm going to use it until it's all gone because I'm really enjoying using this color scheme. I like how all of it's looking together, and by the time we're done, I'm going to put them all into a box and possibly give it away as a set, like, you know, to like family or friends or whatever. Alright, so we're going to attach those. And then for our two stripe pieces, you can see here that I have the mat, and like I said before, the piece on the actual sketch, it didn't have a mat for it. It was just glued right down to the base card. So what I did is I just took 1/8 of an inch and made the mat, you know, 1/8 of an inch bigger, so that would match the base paper that we've already put down. They would have the similar width, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do 1/8 of an inch here and then have a quarter where it's bigger around, so I just tried to use everywhere 1/8 of an inch instead of a quarter. But if you go by the measurements on here, I want to say it's 1/4 inch as far as your mat. Alright, and then for the main piece, the focal piece, I used the leaf, the stamp set, and the dies from that Concord and 9th set that I was telling you about in the beginning, and that one is called Give Thanks. And we're just going to I stamped on the white paper, and then I just glued the dies that I cut out on top of where I stamped. And then for this one, I did tie some jupe around it to make it look like they were tied together, because I didn't stamp the stem part to make it look like it had the long stems. But you'll see on this next one that we're about to put up, I used the longer one with the stem, and I didn't tie it with the jupe because I didn't think it needed it, because the sentiment is going to go across the middle. So you can see it two different ways. And then with the sentiment going straight across, I stamped the happy birthday far to the right, because in my mind, to tie it with the other cards that we've done, I wanted to make sure I had room for some Nouveau jewel drops. So that's why I left kind of an open space on the end. And then all I'm doing is making sure, like on the one side of the focal piece, I have some foam tape, and then I'm going to put regular ATG tape in the middle, and then foam tape on the other end, so that way it lays nice and even. And then once I lay that down, we're going to do it all, same thing on the other one. And now you can see I'm taping over the happy birthday, because when I stamped that one, it kind of blurred. I stamped too hard, I pressed too hard, so I just flipped the page over and stamped again. And then we're going to do the same exact thing, a little bit of foam on the one end and foam on the other, and then the ATG tape right in the middle where the focal image is actually already lifted up with the foam tape. So that's why you don't need foam tape in that section. And then that way it keeps everything at the same level. Alright, and then once really right here, everything, these could be done. These can be completed cards. and I was like, no, I think I want to do the same thing before. The last week we did the slate. Which one is this one? Oh, not slate. It's the Crystal Drops Liquid Mercury. And of course, I love the Crystal Drops, the Pale Gold. I would say these two are my favorites right now, my go-tos, especially with this particular paper pack. All right. And then the last thing I wanted to do is I had on my desk a shimmer spray, and this is by let me see, Imagine Crafts, and it's a sheer frost. And all it does is, it's hard to see like in the camera, but in real life it just gives it, when you tilt it, just a little bit of like a shimmer that's very subtle, but it's really pretty. I think it just, you know, a nice way to finish off a card sometimes. And it's not a whole lot, you know. I just sprayed it twice, and that was it. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're interested in, I guess, seeing what I did with the actual leaves and stuff, I have a video, I want to say, on here where I used this before, and I will make sure to link it at the very end. And if you guys have any comments, just leave them down below. Thank you, and make sure you hit the like button, and if you'd like to subscribe, just click on my photo at the end, and make sure you hit the little bell so that way you're alerted anytime I upload a video. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great weekend.